get started with the meeting. So we can get done today. I don't know what's wrong with this table up here, but nobody wanted to sit at it. It's like I was sitting there, now it's like, well, this is crazy. So we're going to do a happy dollar. Anybody have a happy dollar? Going once. Oh, we have a happy dollar.
Yes. School is back in session, and my house returns to a nice, orderly routine as the teens are moving on.
All right. So they live to be teenagers.
They're there.
Now you got to get them to the next level. Out the door. Right. All right. Anybody else? Any other happy dollars? All right. Thank you. We do have a song meister here who has a song. Mark, it's all yours.
All right. If you would stand and join me, you know, we've only got maybe 4 weeks or so, 4 more meetings until our 100-year celebration with Rotary President. So we really want to work on this song. Let's, you know, we want to sing it loud, proud. Grand old flag, okay? On 4, 2, 3, 4. You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace fading away. The emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true, oh, the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. May old acquaintance be forgot. Keep your eye on the grand old flag.
All right. Thank you, Mark. All right, we got to do a guest. Do I have any guests in the building?
Yeah. I have a guest, my grandson, Charlie Roberts, who's also he's a center fielder for Malone College. He is a political hack. And he is,
Emphasis on the hat.
and he's an employee of Alan Harold.
Oh, hey, welcome. That's great.
He's got other things.
All right, we got to do rotoball now. So let's see. Since we have a guest, we'll have a guest pull a marble out for us and see if you can draw. I keep wanting somebody to take this over.
What's Kim doing now?
He's sitting trying.
Yeah.
Somebody won.
I know.
He's not here. He's okay, grab a picture of it, Lord. If it says Charlie, you're in trouble. Yeah, you were there. So you get to draw the marbles later. Okay. Cynthia has a little bit of a 100-year anniversary update information.
Right. It's like, what, 4 weeks away? We are working very diligently on it. Everything is coming together. I did print out the menu and put it in front of you. I thought maybe that would help everybody get their reservations in. We have to have all the final reservations in by the 8th of September. So get moving. It's at Water's Edge. It starts at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6 o'clock is like, get acquainted time. It'll be cash bar. It'll be time to, for registration. There'll be music. The patio will be open. We will have a few items for, a silent auction, and we'll also have a 50-50. And then at 6 o'clock, Father Sabula will give a blessing, and we'll do the pledge and then have dinner. And then the speaker will speak later in the evening, and we'll have more time for fellowship. So, any questions?
I think he's gonna have to fit a song in there.
Pardon?
I think you're gonna have to fit a song in there.
Or 2 or 3.
No, just one. You only get
I
one,
don't care.
Mark.
We
I
can
get
fit-
paid by the song.
I mean, we can fit anything in, but if you're still there at 10 o'clock, I don't want to hear it. So, I mean, but we can fit anything we want.
So let me explain how the process went about going through the 100-year anniversary. You know, like I said before, this only comes around every 100 years, and we won't be here for the next one, I don't think, unless medical miracles come into play. And so it's important that we celebrated. We thought going in the process about 2 years ago, Randy, or a year and a half ago, something like that, when we started this process of setting this up. We went and visited the place there on Easton, Barley Center, and we went to the Water's Edge, and we thought, you know, this is 100 years. We gotta go first class. So we went to the Water's Edge, and it is a beautiful room. I don't know if any of you have been there for an event, but the room is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. And so we said, this is where we got to be. The other, no offense to Barley Center, but it would be like coming in here compared to the Water's Edge. It's like going to Top Chalet. Remember Top Chalet? Nice place. Anyway, so we picked that place, and it was north of $5,000 to rent it for the day, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And we paid for it over the last year and a half. So we paid so much up front, and then we paid, maybe last year we paid another payment, and then this year we paid another payment. So we kind of split it into 3 different years to be able to afford to be able to do this. And we also wanted to pick a really good restaurant, cater the place. And Mike's is good, but we wanted to stay local if we could. So the team that Cynthia put together with Amy Simpkins and Jennifer Anderson chose, they met with Scratch, and they felt comfortable going forward. We would have a buffet with 3 options. So when you go through there, you can pick any of the 3 options. Yes?
4.
Well, there's 4? He added one. What's the 4th one? Oh, eggplant. Oh, for vegetarian. That's for the what do you call it? Vegetarian. Okay, so you're going to get a great meal in a beautiful facility, and we want everybody to have a chance to participate and be part of it. We have all the district governors going to come. I think she got 3 tickets to come. The past district governor's going to be there. There's people from other Rotary clubs that are coming that have already reserved a ticket. And so we need to get in there and get it by the 8th. If you have any questions on being able to do it online, you call me and I'll try to help you through it. Or if you really object to doing it online like that, check or cash to Sandor or myself will work too. Okay, any questions on the 100-year anniversary event? All right. The next thing is the Constitution Parade float update. I have appointed Lisa Lingenhole and Eva Rochon to find a float. We have a $1,500 budget. $1,500 doesn't get you a whole lot, but they did find a hay wagon in Navarre, I think, if it's still available. And it's just a plain flatbed hay wagon with a back. And that's it. There's not much to it. We could put bales of hay on it and stuff like that to sit on or whatever and decorate it up somewhat. That's about, I think, $1,300. They also brought up that, what about the wagon that's in the barn, the flag barn? If we could use that for the day and just rent it and maybe save that $1,500, maybe budget another $1,500 next year, and maybe have $3,000 to go after a better float. The other problem with the float is you got to find somebody that can store it indoors, and that's going to be a problem too. So, any comments on that? Anybody have an opinion on that? Or we could go no float. Yes. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, with this float, are you trying to emphasize the 100th year of Rotary, or the citizen, or, I mean, what is the purpose of the float?
Well, we haven't had a float in the parade, so we wanted to kind of do something more for the 100 and then maybe possibly have one for the future floats or future festivals in the future. So since we're the sponsor of the parade, we thought it would be good to have a float for the 100 year. Yes.
So, do you know if Lisa looked at the place in Dover that rents floats?
Yeah.
How much? Okay.
Yeah, she has, and they're very expensive, she said. So, I didn't get the prices or anything. I just left it in their hands. I said, you guys figure it out. We can do it. Fine. If not, we'll bag the money and leave it there and add to it next year and maybe have more money to get what we really want.
Who built the one for the Constitution?
Pardon?
Who built the float for the Constitution?
Anybody know?
Really nice.
Yeah. And it stays. I think we could find a place to store it if we have. I know the city has that garage out at Wilson Park that's empty, and we could probably talk Andy into letting us store it there. I don't think that would be a problem.
If you can, I got a truck. I got my own truck garage. You can put it in my garage.
Okay. Thank you.
How much does the wagon cost?
$1,300
Wow.
for a hay wagon. It's brand new. It's not used.
What's wrong with using one? Nothing. I can get you using it for nothing, probably.
I'm interested. Well, I tell you, get a hold of Lisa. Okay? If you need her number, I can get it for you. All right. Any other comments? Yes.
Yeah, if he gets us a free hay wagon, then I can supply us with people willing to help decorate. Because the ambassadors have said that they would be willing to.
That's right.
help us.
Okay. I'll get you her number so you can call her and you guys work it out. Wonderful. Thank you. Just a reminder that the nominations for Citizen of the Year are still open. If you would like to nominate someone, write it up, why, and it can't be job related. It has to be community related. And send it on to Greg Anderson, who's the chairman. And I'm sure when he gets back from Australia that we'll be meeting to see where we're at. I know we had 3, but I don't know if he's gotten any more since he left the country. Peace poll update. Jim Edwards.
Okay, I got 4 things quick. Or I gave the number to Lisa yesterday for T-Bone, who owns the trailer that we built flags on. Okay, it's a perfect thing for it. What happened? Did Lisa call her?
Yes, she did.
And what happened?
He said he'd empty it out
Okay,
prior to, and we could do what we need to do with it.
next. I printed today or yesterday, and I handed the routes to Jerry. He's putting them in the boxes. All right. And the last thing on that, I would like to offer my job, I've been doing it 16 years, to anybody that wants it. I'm sure that there's going to be a line. Okay. All right. If anybody wants it, just let me know. Bad news. My golf partner, Rich Turpak, went golfing Sunday over in Ashland. And they got to the tee, he forgot something, he put him on the back of a golf cart, he fell off. He's on a ventilator in Mansfield ever since Sunday afternoon. So pray for Richard, all right? He's the guy that inducted you guys.
Yeah,
Right?
he was at the banquet
All right.
here.
I'm sorry, I sent a letter to Jim, and there's the Russian language or the 20 languages that are spoken in the world, all right? I thought that was pretty cool. Jared helped me, he found the translations this morning and emailed me. You should see the number of them that are, of those languages that are in Cyrillics or different fonts that aren't English, okay? But they're really cool. You did a great job doing that. So Shorty and I went yesterday over to Carter Rubber in Alliance, and we picked up 4 poles, all right? We're ready to go. I need Brock, all right? We'll get on the printing of it, and your pole should be done before late November, all right?
Good, thank you, Jim.
No, I'm kidding. We'll get them done.
Well, there's no time.
I know. The other cool thing about this, Shorty and I went over there, we've been working concrete all our life. We're gonna take these poles and set them in the ground. He's got a post hole digger, his neighbor has one, we're gonna dig them with that. And then we set them in there and we take this, I wish we brought one, 2 bags, 2 plastic bags of material, liquid. You take the top one, squeeze it into the bottom one, shake it, cut it, pour it into the hole, and it's that foam you guys see in the paint department at Metzger's. Have you ever seen that pole sitting in Metzger's, right, with that foam sticking out? And so all the concrete we bought a bunch of concrete, effective concrete, and it weighs about 2 pounds, all right? It's really neat stuff.
So,
That's how we're gonna do that.
so remember me talking about great ideas come if you open the door and let people, shoot them out. Well, I got a great one on an email this week from Bob Hallier, and he said, "What about the Rotary Garden that's going in at the library? We could put a peace pole there." So I think is that acceptable?
Yeah, we already agreed to it.
You already agreed to it. Okay, good. So we could put that peace pole at the Rotary Garden in, which I think is the very first garden that you
I don't
come.
remember where it's at, but the gardens are actually in now.
Yeah, I seen them today. Yeah.
So if you go look behind the library, you can see the spaces. So
Yeah.
the planting isn't done yet, the plaques aren't in yet. So within the next month or so, we'll be able to put it in.
But I want the peace pole, at least one of them, or all of them actually, to be on a footpath where you're going to have foot traffic. I don't want to. I don't think it'd be advantageous to do it down where the leopard is, because people are just going to drive by it. They're not going to know what it is. It needs to be on a foot traffic path. So you guys can figure out where that's going to be. But I think there's a great location right there in our Rotary Garden.
You guys figure it out.
Okay.
Where?
All right. We'll put a committee together and we'll get that done. I'm happy to say that the 25 flag banners for the exchange students have been ordered. And they're going to look great. I'm telling you, they're going to look great. and they are paid for by an anonymous donor. Okay, so isn't that great? They were $388 and some change, including tax. And we had to order 25 because it's custom. We couldn't do 15. All right. Last night I got to talking to some of the chamber people that were at this event at the historical. I'm sorry, historical. So, who got me started? Somebody was talking about the hysterical over here as a joke, and I know you could talk me into saying it. Historical Society last night, which was really a cool event, and it was fun. It was very informative and very fun. Anyway, I got to talking about some chamber people, and I said, you know, I had this idea that we should get together and network sometime on an event. And I started talking to them. I said, well, we meet the fifth Wednesday if there's a fifth Wednesday in the month, we have a social hour. I says, why don't we get together on a social hour? And they were all for it. They thought it was a wonderful thing to do. So all we got to do is pick a place, and it's going to have to be big enough to, you know. But I think if anybody wants to work with the chamber and figure that out where the place is going to be, but to be the October 29th would be the date. It's on your agenda, and they in fact Tina Horn actually put it on her calendar. That's how excited they were about it. My thinking on it is when we network with people from the chamber, some of them might be interested in joining Rotary. You know, they're business people, stuff like that, but nothing against business people, right? But they own a business, most of them. And it'd be great to invite them in to be a member at Rotary. If that's what you want. If you know somebody, talk to them, say, hey, would you ever think about joining? You know, come to lunch with us. See what you think. Because we do a lot of good things in the community, and they like to do, you know, they're not a service-oriented company. They are a business-oriented. So there's a little difference. All right, Mark Sigler. I'm going to ask that you introduce our guest speaker today, since you have known him from is longer than when he was a toddler.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to have Alan with us. It's always great to see his friendly face. I'm used to seeing his friendly face around my dining room table or at the cookie jar.
That's right.
He and my son were running the halls of Louisville Elementary, the middle school, the high school. And you know, when Alan was at the high school, we had principals and other people in administration, but make no mistake, Alan ran the high school.
Yeah, I see you the same, so.
He's a natural, just thrilled to have him as a friend, and even more thrilled that my son has such a wonderful friend.
Thank you. Yeah,
Alan,
thank you. So it's always good to be back in my hometown. I live down the street, and not as many Zwicks and Heralds are in town anymore as really used to be. But it's certainly good to be with you today. Confession. This is, I was appointed county commissioner in December, and this is the first time anybody's asked me to speak in my new role. So what's that? I know, that's right, Kathy. Kathy's been a friend for a long time. You know, as county auditor for 14 years. I was first selected in 2010 to do that role. So if you have a problem with your taxes, that wasn't me. Wasn't me at all. You know, I don't know. Have we gotten Angie Kinsey, the new auditor, on the list yet? She's starting to get out as she's comfortable in her role. But the county commissioner, you know, a lot of people think we kind of run the county every day. In some ways we do. But in other ways, each of the other elected officials at the county level that we serve with, the auditor, the treasurer, the clerk, the recorder, the sheriff, the prosecutor, other people, the judges, other folks who you might know, we all kind of just sit on this very even plane, and each have our own responsibilities to be accountable to you, to the 375,000 people that are residents of our county. But the one thing that kind of makes the commissioners unique in this, I should say, maybe a couple, is that we get to decide how all the money's spent. And we get to decide. So when I was the auditor, I was paying the bills and paying the people. That was really, as the commissioners set the tone for, if you're the treasurer, here's how much money you get to spend. If you're the road engineer, this is how much you get to spend. Job and Family Services, sheriff, judges. Now the judges can order us. The judges can order us, but we get along pretty well here, and that really doesn't happen. So the county commissioners have, I'll just say a little bit about, some of the things that we're responsible for, and then a little bit as I've come in, kind of philosophically about what the role should be. So directly the commissioners oversee our county record center. This is where we keep all the records of everything that's gone on in the business of our county for, back to the early 1800s. It's pretty fascinating. We own all property. The commissioners own all property. If it's a county road, it's owned by the commissioner. If it's a county car, it's owned by the commissioners. If it's a county building, it's owned by the commissioners. We own a lot of stuff. So we're charged with then, maintaining that and then working with whomever owns it. We own the fairgrounds. We're ready for the fair next week. So we work with the Stark County Agricultural Society, their proper name, to keep that place in reasonable shape. We are the contracting authority. So any contract that goes on in county government, be it for the courts, the sheriff, anybody else, we are the contracting authority for that. We oversee Job and Family Services. These are programs that help put people to work, help people who are in need, help our seniors, others who are on Medicaid, get the services that they need. We are about a conduit for the, for the state and federal government in that way. We oversee the sanitary engineering department. So many of our municipalities, like Louisville, has their own city and water here, but a lot of the unincorporated areas have county water or county sewers. We oversee that. We oversee the building department, which again is largely for the unincorporated areas, but then we by contract do the work for a lot of municipalities, including the city of Louisville here too. Going around the table, human resources for the county, and I'm trying to picture all my department heads there. I serve with two other county commissioners, Mr. Richard Route 30 Regula and Bill Smith. Bill, both of them were longtime township trustees. Bill's family owns the Waco Market too, and he's an East Canton guy. We try to keep us East Side guys together here too. So that's good. I guess philosophically, so I'd been the auditor for a role. That's a very kind of in the weeds role, where we're handling the taxes. We're handling basically the day-to-day of running local government when you're paying the bills, paying the people. I'd overseen IT, among other things there. But here, again, we have all these kind of direct responsibilities that we have. And a lot of people, maybe 750, 850 people that work directly for us in each of these different departments. I mean, Job and Family Services is about 450 people. They're carrying out various state and federal mandates that we have. But, and if county government is really just the long arm of the state, like you guys can decide in Louisville, I mean, we operate within the code, but if you want to, if you want to do something unique or the way that you enforce a rule, you have the ability to do that. Counties aren't that way. We have to follow the state law to the letter. We can't stray outside of that. We don't have really the ability to go and be too creative with how we do things. So if we're all kind of bound by that, and we can be kind of rote in the way that goes across. The code says this. What do we do? So how do we make a difference? How do we make an impact in the way that we do this every day? And I guess the one thing that I think we do an okay job, I think we really need to do a much better job of at the county level, is we need to champion what's going on across our communities. And we need to find ways to help what's going on across our communities. And not that that hasn't been done before, but we need a much greater spirit of cooperation among, not only what goes on at the county proper, but what goes on with our locals. So we need to champion the causes that are important to our communities and help them find ways to get it done. Because the county can bring a lot of resources to bear locally, just again by being a convener, or at state and federal level by again different ways that we have to do that. So, and again, we have a lot to be proud of in our county, but I really feel strongly that we need to champion that more. The other thing too is, and again, you may have heard me talk or others talk about this before, is maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, the Stark Community Foundation put out a report that said we are older, poorer, and smaller than we were. And we continue to be that way. Not smaller in stature, smaller in population. We continue to shrink. And really, we have been set at this 375 to 380,000 population for almost 2 generations. Almost 2 generations. You can watch how it kind of flattened out, our growth kind of flattened out in the 1970s, kind of that post-war boom. We have just been up a little bit. Some words you were down a little bit. So we, the county, need to create for our communities conditions for growth. And we need to plan, we need to be better planners at what we do. So how are ways that we can go about and do that? Well, the first is really, to focus on economic development and how we retain and how we attract good paying jobs to our community. And this is and folks, when I tell you, this is a long game, right? It is a long game from the attraction standpoint, to get people here, to create the conditions that we're here. But, which is so different from, again, before I had payroll to meet every 2 weeks and, always people asking and bothering and things that would go wrong in the county every day and we just fix it. In this role, we need to be much better planners. We need to be much more focused on how we create the conditions, for our entrepreneurs and for our community organizations to go out and do what they do best in the way that they serve the public, in the way that they serve their employees, in the way that they grow their business. So we do that through the attraction and retention of businesses. And there are good tools that go with that help us really to expand our infrastructure, to help us infill areas of the county where there may be opportunity to kind of come in and clean things up a little bit and then create something for the next generation to do. And along with that is we are in desperate need, and we are not unique among anywhere in the state, but we are in desperate need of housing, and particular affordable housing. And more, we call it in today's world, income-aligned housing, housing that meets people where they're at, along that pathway that they're on. Because I'm on my I'm just on my 3rd house here. We've lived in this one for almost 20 years. And we moved around a little bit too. But you think about that life cycle that a family goes through when you're maybe right out of high school or right on the job market, and you maybe have a little apartment or a little duplex, and then you get your starter home, and then you maybe move into a little bigger home and maybe get a little bit of land. But then at some point it's all too much, right? And you're going the other way, right? You want something that's a little bit smaller, easier to maintain in that. So we did a nice study, released it last summer, that really looked at that continuum that we're on and how we then go and deliver on what the market needs to help our residents along that life cycle. And we need more of it all. You might get attracted by, the $500,000 houses or that. It's like, oh, that'd be nice. I need stuff at the very beginning for folks who are in that transitional part of their life, right? Where, maybe they didn't have a good upbringing, or maybe they're just trying to get on their feet and they're working a couple jobs, and maybe they have a couple of kids, and, we have to have some way that really helps them. And then when they're at that level of independence, again, be it when they're right out of college or, you know, a couple years out of the house, they're ready to move out of mom and dad's, we got to have affordable apartments, you know, for them to live in too. We can't be afraid of these different options that we provide people. And then really at the other end, you know, we need more one-story, and we'll call it more senior style condo type, villa type living. We need much more of that. That product goes just like that. And the market, so people build it and the market speaks and the prices go up, right? So we need to continue to come up with ways that keep our housing affordable and give options to folks. Because that's what we hear when folks want to come in and look at land and look at opportunity in the county, that they need a lot of options for their workforce, right? They need a lot of options for their senior managers who come in. They need options for the people who are in the shop doing the work. Number one thing, outside of do you have enough land to do what I need it to do, is can you get me the bodies to do the job? So we work in very, very close partnership with all of our schools in our trades. You know, we're wonderful here. You know, from the public works side, we're building this new jail. We dedicated, we broke ground on it last week, so you may see it out on 62. You know, a lot of people say, oh, we have to do it, folks. Right? We're charged by law to provide this space, and the part of the jail that we're replacing is 60 years old. You know, from the staffing standpoint, some of you probably remember when that was built. From the staffing standpoint, you know, we're going to be able to go from about 8 corrections officers a shift to 3.5. So again, we create something that's, you know, a little more sustainable from the staffing side. But from the trade side on this project, and the folks that have worked all over the country, they've said we've never had a project where more local contractors have gotten the job. 70% of the work on this jail by contractor count and by dollar volume is going to companies right here in Stark County. That's a lot to be proud of. That's a competitive difference for us. They're leaving Harrison County right now. A lot of the trades or a lot of the folks, they just finished a project down there, come up there. 22%. 22% of those dollars stayed in Harrison County. The rest went to, it's a small county. But even you look at Cuyahoga County or Franklin County where they do it, they said we've never come that close. 50, if you even get to 50, we're at 70% of those dollars are staying here. That's important to us. As we look at other economic development options here, believe me, that's something that we tout to companies that are coming in to locate here. And they know this because they've seen it at work in other parts of the state, that our trades are going out and doing this. But we have the workforce here to get the job done, and we need to be able to capitalize on that as we do that. So these are, to me, these are just fun things to do. You know, it's passing. I'm going to go to the office here and about right after I'm done here, and we'll have our meeting today, and we'll pass contracts and, you know, pay some bills and hire a couple people, I'm sure, today. And that's all an important part of the job, to make sure that we're good and accountable and transparent in the way that we do this. But the thing that probably attracted me most to the job is that to be in a position to help create opportunity, to help champion the good things that go on in our county and with our workforce and our families. And like anything, we're all to leave this little patch a little better than we found it. Right. And so that'll be my goal, you know, for however long the good people decide to keep me county commissioner. I have to run next year in 2026. So I had to run anyhow, and my term was up anyhow. So more parades, see you at the parade. Yes. You know, I'll pull the float or do whatever. So I'm glad to take any questions that you have. Mr. Sigler.
I'd be remiss if and I know you know this, but just to remind, we have a facility, it used to be called J&L Steel.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of Baslin's project with the Bitcoin
money,
you know, and I don't think they're using as much land as what we have, and certainly, you know, the water, the sewer,
We've had several people, yeah, we've had several people through the site, you know, and I'll be honest, we had one where I said, if this is who it is, don't come to me asking for anything. Because it was somebody that I just, Alan's opinion, we didn't want to do business with in this county. So we have some latitude in that. We want the right partners. We want the ones who are going to create the right opportunities. We're going to release, we're in the process of it right now, is kind of a countywide land study. Because as this growth occurs, we need to be smart about it, right? And so we've had issues even just here locally, like what went out on Peach Road. You can see how the landscape has changed as we go out 62, you know, from when the Amazon facility was built. We got little barns out there, but that, you know, the Smith Farm is now all in the city of Canton and all zone commercial, right? It might not be, but it can be like that. But what does that mean? And how are we smart about that? Because we have limited dollars and resources to go invest in, you know, growth, right? I can't just go put a housing development anywhere. I just can't go put a factory anywhere. Right? We need to be smart about the way that we do that. So we've embarked very, very diligently to help answer questions just like that, because we don't have a lot of room for commercial growth. Like, you know, when right now we've got this site needs a lot of work. Got Republic Steel right here, a lot of work needed on that. Working on that. Got Republic Steel on Maslin. Tons of interest. We kiss so many frogs on that, and we're in the top 2 and 3 on so many deals, but it's going to hit. I mean, one day it's going to hit, but when that hits, we got to be ready. We got to have other stuff ready for others. So we need a better roadmap, back to the planning, back to the where we headed. We need to be better at that if we want to grow. So, yep, Shorty.
You got no part of this. But 20 years ago, the commissioners paid $1 for Molly Stark.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to cost $3 or $4 million.
It's going to cost $2.4 million to tear it down.
I figured about $3 million now.
Yeah, 2.4.
You already got prices.
What's that?
When are you going to start it?
It will. I don't want to take Jared's thunder, but it should come down this winter.
It'll be down by the end of the year.
Yeah, it should come down this winter. So it need. Yeah, yeah.
What a mistake that was.
It was. It's really expensive. There's asbestos everywhere in that building. Asbestos.
It's sad because when they built it, you know, it was like really, it was awesome when he built it. But
Yeah, and the front part is really cool. The part that you can see from the street. The rest of it just is as utilitarian as it comes. It's just like it's a 1940 style row hospital with just rooms and rooms. It's not too. It's. I've taken 2 tours out there. My goodness. And that probably the saddest one was when I'd come home and I was talking to my neighbor kid. He's 16, same age as my son. This is the last summer. And he's like, Mr. Allen, he says, I said, what are you doing this weekend? Like, oh, I go out and ride my dirt bike and I go around. Where do you go? Well, I go out to the Stark Ceramic site. I was like, well, I just sold that. You know, I was in charge of that as the county auditor. I just sold that. And he says, well, then we go over, when we're done there, we go over to Molly Stark. I said, I just toured that. We're tearing that down. Like, what? You're taking away all the fun. I said, buddy, none of this is safe. And especially on Molly Stark, that's going to create opportunity for us. We have sanitary right there, right at the corner. We have some sanitary right there. So we got to get the water worked out. But again, this takes time. This takes money. So
You got sanitary, that means Canton city limits will be extended there.
well, it's our sanitary.
Oh.
It's ours, not theirs.
Okay.
Yeah. it's
Where's the
ours.
sanitary at? I know there's any sanitary.
There's some that is along 44. It doesn't service much, but it's there. It's there. So I can stick around for a couple minutes if you have other questions. Otherwise, I got to go back and run the business of the county at 1:30.
How about a hand?
All right. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Hey, Adam.